One of the frequently asked questions about the GPL and the other open source licenses is, can you use the open source software in your company? Because many people know that in some of the cases the GPL license, especially the GPL license, because in some of the cases it acts like a virus, can infect your software that most probably you do not really want to be a GPL because you would like to be able to sell it, right? So, can you use the GPL v3 in your company without being endangered of being GPL'd? And the answer is yes, definitely yes. The GPL license is structured in the way that everything that is the derivative of the GPL software automatically becomes the GPL v3 software. And now we have to define what is a derivative. If, for example, you use an open source text editor and you will create a book, only the fact that you use the GPL v3 released text editor doesn't mean that your book is the derivative of the editor, because it's only a tool. You used a tool. You might have used completely different tool to create the same book, and you are still the author of the book that you wrote. So there is no infection of your work by the GPL license used to make your thing, whatever the thing is. This is why it's absolutely safe to use the GPL v3 and other open source licenses as a tool. Open source operating system, open source monitoring tool, open source editor, open source programming tools, IDEs, and other things like that. It's not really a problem, because if you make something with a tool that can be easily replaced with any other tool, your effect of your work is not really a derivative of the tool itself. However, when you take a piece of the GPL v3 released software and make your own software based on that, it doesn't matter if you will adapt something or you will just use the GPL v3 plugin or the library to make your own software, then we have a problem, because then the GPL infected your program, your work, your code, and as such should also be released under the GPL v3. This is why usage of the GPL released libraries in the commercial applications is rather a no-go. There are better licenses. Always check if this is GPL or maybe LGPL, MIT. MIT, LGPL are fine. GPL v3 as the license for the library, a code, a framework that you use to make your own software is not really probably usually the best way to do it. But as a tool that is only used as a tool to produce something that you make in your company is absolutely not a problem. You should not be afraid of that. Only the fact that you use the open source programming tool, like, I don't know, what's open source? I think the Visual Studio Code is currently open source. It doesn't mean that every code produced with the help of this tool is the GPL. That's all for today. Thank you very much for watching and happy coding.